to our dice roll. Let's go. So we have established so far that Renelle is working on behalf of Steve and defending Aaron and Veda's behavior up until at least December 6th. Right? So any behavior that they've engaged in before December 6th is A-okay with Renelle, and she's out to defend them because she thinks she's justified, at least in going after nonsense, because she believes, without having shown shit, that nonsense is working for Katie Joy. So it's the ends justifies the means. It's like, as long as it's okay, as long as it's against Katie, it's okay. But whatever. Alright. We take our dice. We are going to cross off Renelle with a big old check mark. Big old check mark. Boom! Check mark for Renelle. She is clearly part of this group of conspirators. Number 3, Suzanne. All right, let's go. So recently I saw Veda being pretty pissy because Suzanne made a video about art. Right? So let's go to Suzanne over here. And so I'm not 100% sure whether or not Suzanne is completely part of this group or is just like particularly with their behavior when it comes to like the TROs and the ROs and like how hard some of these people go after some certain individuals. So we're gonna see what what Suzanne had to say. I don't know. I don't know if she's really like tied up in all this shit. She seems like she's just like tertiarily tied up by like just proximity rather than like what Suzanne's actually engaged in. So I want to take a look because Veda seemed really pissy at her. So I want to see what Suzanne actually said. And I planned on looking at this video before because I suspect I'm actually going to end up agreeing with Suzanne for the most part. Well, let's go see.
Okay, I'm feeling salty AF today. So,
oh, good.
Without further ado, we need to talk about what plagiarism is. In particular, art plagiarism, but we can also talk about other types of plagiarism, like certain ones pulled off without a box of Kleenex. Okay. If you know who I am, I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer. If you don't know who I am, that's okay too.
Hi,
I
Suzanne.
used to write a blog called No Longer Quivering for a place called Pathos. I talked about fundamentalist religions, and usually I would be doing a book review today, but I am pretty good much got a bee in my bonnet about something today, about art theft. What do I mean by art theft? Let me pull up the description for you. Art plagiarism. Visual plagiarism, also known as art theft.
I would recommend putting the definition on stream if you can, but, or on the video if you can. Yeah, this is a video, right? Yeah, this was a video as well, so, like, putting this out in on post would be good, but, whatever. That's like a how to make content type thing, not like she's wrong.
Those of you who know me may not know that don't know me well may not know that I am an artist. I am here in my sewing room, my studio, where I do all of my arts. I make my arts. I've been doing this for years. I studied. I had private lessons as a small child even, because
Ooh,
art was something
fancy.
that I just had to do. And that's the thing that separates artisans from artists. Artists do it because they feel it in here. They have to do it. It's let your emotions out or explode. And
I feel that.
Part of being an artist is ever learning. And
I don't know if that's
I have been
a
ever
requirement
learning in my art journey. This morning I was in the kitchen looking at spatulas and things going, I wonder what kind of crazy painting I could make with one of these. So let me let you stroll through here. This is me trying to learn watercolor and using watercolored pencils and a little bit of acrylic. Okay, this is an original of mine. It came from right here after I saw somebody showing how to make watercolor perfect circles using a bowl. This is one of the few times I used acrylic when our old days when we lived in Virginia. And it is from an original photograph I took. Okay, I'm about to span you all the recent artwork I've done. This bad boy is a combination of acrylic and oil paints. It's an old painting I did that I didn't like, so I said, well, I'll just use it to practice pour painting on. I practiced pour painting.
It's very nice.
It did not go well, but I liked the edges, so I kept the edges and enhanced them a little bit and just started going wild on it. This came out of my brain. That was not copying it from anybody.
Sure. Oh, hi, Buck.
Should have brought these all next to me.
Did you hear this crinkling?
So I'm going to keep leaning back and showing you guys my gut. Okay. This a recent acrylic that I did from a photograph I took of the sun going down over the beach. It was all blues and golds. This bad boy is based upon a photograph that I took, a photo that I absolutely love.
Okay.
Lately I've been painting in acrylics and watercolors because I can't handle the scent of oil paints. And I'm starting to wheeze with acrylics. That's why I'm starting to do the thing with watercolor. This bad boy, oil, it is where the ocean meets the estuary from a photograph I took. Last but not least, something I did in acrylic and used. I love bright colors. You probably couldn't
Okay,
tell
we
that
get the
from some
point.
of those, but I
move on. I understand that you do art.
all of these paintings are original,
Sure.
either here or from a photograph I personally took.
Sure.
I've been painting for years, since I was like 13, 14, in oils, and now acrylic, and now making the transition into watercolors because I wheeze when I do oil or acrylics now.
That sucks.
And I have
That's
to
rough.
paint or I bust. I'm just one of those people. So why am I even talking about this, and why am I showing you all my paintings? I want you to know what an original looks like, what an original looks like. And not only an original, but if you're any kind of halfway decent artiste, I can't read in here. I always write my name on the back. I don't see it on this one. I write my name on the back and the date it was produced. I've always done that. And where is
It's
a
a good
picture
habit.
of? I've always done that. And for some reason, that one looks like it wore off. I can't read it. And it's not that everybody doesn't use ideas from other people, because obviously we all do. We all think about that. I love the paintings of one
Sure.
Vincent van Gogh. And I've done a number of paintings in his style, not direct copies of any of his work. I only did a direct copy of his work one time. It was the first time I painted in oils because I wanted to learn what he did.
So yeah, it's a common method of education to copy work. So you can understand and break down that artist's style and what they did, and then you can use that experience and that artist's experience to advance your own knowledge. That's a common learning tool for when it comes to art. I might just
But
speed
here's
her up
the
a little bit
thing,
here.
I didn't try to push it off as original artwork
Sure.
or anything like that. The only time that copying another artwork or, quote, improving on it comes into being is when you are making a copy for somebody. Somebody asks you for it, and you're like, oh, all right. I did a copy of Starry, Starry Night for someone. There was a pretty decent copy, and I'm thinking about doing a second one just so I can paint my cats in it staring at the star.
That depends. Somebody asks you to plagiarize somebody else's work, that doesn't suddenly make it okay. Especially if you're getting paid for it. Particularly if you're talking about, like, legal definitions. If you're talking about, like, what's colloquially okay, because realistically they should just be buying their own copy of Starry Night, right? Now, if they're like, I want a Starry Night painting, but I want this alteration to it, that's sure, but you ride these lines, right? And it depends on what you're doing and what you're about, and yada yada yada. There's a bunch of bots that came in, so hi, thanks bots, who's ever sending bots.
Stars, because I think that would be fun.
Depends.
But
I don't think she would disagree with me, though.
or something like for my 50th birthday. Yeah, I'm drinking out of a fruit jar. I'm mad. My 50th birthday, I did a sheet cake where I painted.
Okay, I'm jumping ahead. I appreciate that this is a rant video, so it's gonna have, like, this stuff into it, so I'm just jumping ahead to get to the point. And it's doing the loading thing, because I didn't download these videos ahead of time. I'm a fool! The thing is like...
Different if somebody asks you to do it, and you write on there, this is your take on the other person's artwork. It's a whole different ball game if you're trying to learn a technique that your favorite artist uses. I'm usually not interested in that. Most of the time I will think things up and say, I wonder what that would look like. Like one time there's a painting in my bedroom and I painted 90% of it with a piece of saran wrap scrunched up, and it worked out well. So I like to think about those things and come up with them. The digital world has made everything a lot worse as far as for artwork, and especially original artwork. I used to do worship flags, and I mean large ones. We're talking 9 feet long or more. The one that I used to do the most had lame in whatever color on the outside rim, and the inside rim was chiffon that had glitter on it.
What did Digimon do to you?
These flags were half round. They were expensive to make. It took almost $100 worth of material. And if you weren't careful and you didn't know what you were doing, it was really easy to screw up where the chiffon and the lame laid. I had worked out on my own how to cut these things and how to lay them out and how to sew them. And I used to also do sometimes do art, airbrushing. I will come up with original designs, draw it out on the lame, put it together, that sort of thing. And it was really frustrating.
Oh, I didn't speed her up.
Because almost from the beginning, and this is very true in evangelical Christianity, almost from the beginning, people would ask me how much, and I would tell them, and they would go, I'm not paying that kind of money. I'd be like I got $90 in materials in this thing. How can you tell me? So I'm only charging you a tiny bit for the actual work. So how can you tell me it's not worth it? So a lot of times these people would say,
well, it's not worth it to them because they don't understand the process. That happens a lot in art. That's not uncommon, but yes.
Hey, I want to make that. Tell me how to make it. And I would very carefully draw out how they had to fold the fabric and cut it a certain way, and give them tips on overlaying the two together and sewing them together and edging the whole thing, serger edging the whole thing, so that it flowed right. Because with these flags, it was crucial they were cut a certain way or they would not flow right. And
yeah, there's there's a difference between, like, part of what you're paying for with art is somebody's knowledge and experience and their practice of being able to do something properly. It's not necessarily easy to just pick up a brush or pick up a sewing kit and just do it yourself. Part of what you're paying for is experience, like pretty much any type of artisan or any type of, like, trade. But yes, go on.
And with the chiffon ones, they had the chiffon in the center and the heavier lame on the outside. So I never minded doing that because that was for the people who were telling me that I charged too much. And many times they would start making one and screw it up so badly they would just contact me and purchase one anyway. But what was the problem was I would make these things and I would do my original designs, and later I would see on Twitter, not Twitter, what am I talking about? On Etsy. Etsy wasn't as much of a thing back then, but especially on eBay, I would see bad knockoffs of my design for a fraction of what I was charging. And it was very, very hard with that sort of thing to say, hey, that's not yours. In today's world of digital everything, it's very easy to prove your copyright on your copyrighted material. By the way, those are all copyrighted now that I've shown them online. And so I'm inserting my copyright. If somebody makes a copy for themselves, I do not care. If they make a copy and try to claim it's their own artwork, oh, girl. So I've dealt with this plagiarism quite a bit in the art world, and there have been times when I've been able to.
You just said digital things when things went digital, they got worse. But then just said that it's a lot easier to exercise your rights in digital, implying that digital is better. So I'm not. I think the point got lost somewhere in her describing her situation. So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused, but please continue.
Support myself in the art world. I won the flags. I did it for a while. I worked in an art studio and gallery for many years, off and on, in their quilting division. And quilting and crochet is a little bit different because everybody's sharing the patterns. Sometimes you could look at something and work out what the pattern is. So there's a whole lot less, quote, plagiarism that goes on there. I'm concerned with the original artwork. When you do your original artwork and somebody makes a bad copy, oh, it is literally the worst. It's a bad feeling. And digital is even more bizarre. When I worked for Pathos, the rule for graphics was if you did a graphic for your website to use, and I did a fair amount, you had to have made an 85% or greater change to the original image, artwork or not. If you changed it that much, and what do I mean by change? I mean, maybe you cut a little bit of it out to use, you turn it a completely different color, you added other graphics in there, and you put lettering on there. That's an acceptable use of someone else's copywritten material. That's something that does not violate copyrights by the way that the copyright laws are constructed. But to take somebody else's picture and to change what one pillow looks like and change what one sign says is not 85% change. It is a plagiarism. It is an art theft. It is.
This, what she just talked about, is she's talking about Veda's art. That she's saying Veda plagiarized previous artwork. If anybody wants to know like Veda's plagiarism here, this is the best video to watch. It's 8 minutes long. It's really straightforward. Good. This is probably the best video to watch on it. Where I'm just gonna click through real quick because I'm not. Go watch the video. It's very good. But there's a comparison that is made here. Let me see if I can. Oh, come on. Where she's showing it like that, you can see Veda showing it on screen and stuff, and then the changes that she supposedly made. There it is. These are supposedly like the different versions of the video, or sorry, of the artwork. So this is what because Veda claimed that she did this on her own, and then she claimed that she had redrawn it or whatever and made some changes and like whatever the fuck. This is Veda's version, this is hers, but this was not the picture that she had shown initially. What she had actually shown initially was just this one. Yada yada yada. Veda's phone, Veda's wall. So there's what it actually like. So she posted this one later, and the changes aren't nearly as drastic and stuff like that. And there's like they're right here. They did a really good job by specifically putting them on top of each other and lowering the opacity. Very clever, very well done. So you can see how it just lines up. But and so yeah, it's pretty obvious that Veda's, and it's not even just that one. She did another one with like Mickey Mouse or something. Because plagiarizing Disney's always a good job or good idea. So she's got this Mickey Mouse one that Veda claims that she did. But like you can just pick it up. Right there, same picture. And then Veda showed this one later on to say that this was the one she did. This is a filter over top of. This is not the same thing. This is what she showed on stream. This is what she's posted to say that this is the one she did, and this is just a filter on top of this piece that she didn't paint. Simple as that. I saw Veda hide somebody saying like, why don't you just paint on stream? Like, do a stream where you actually just do one of these paintings, and that would solve your issue about whether or not you quote-unquote can even paint in the first place. They weren't that mean about it. They weren't that aggressive, but I digress.
Video's gonna be a bit...
There we go. But that's what Suzanne's talking about. She's saying she
Is
didn't.
digital
She's saying she didn't change the art, therefore it's plagiarism. I would go a step further and said you put a filter on it. That's you didn't even change anything.
visual plagiarism. And I don't tolerate that in anybody. For me, knowing that certain people are plagiarists, whether they're plagiarizing writings like Without a Box of Kleenex is done, or they're plagiarizing other people's artwork and saying, see here where I did this. When people do that, I know a lot about them right off the bat, that they're not good people. They're not good people, not anybody I want to be anywhere near, associated with, anything like that. And I'm sorry, this is probably going to hurt some of you guys' feelings, this stream, because I know a lot of you support this person. And that's fine. You can support somebody that your other friends don't like. There's no law against that. I guess what I'm trying to say is I finally broke down and watched the Burnt Toast videos. I had been hearing whispers about this for eons about the artwork and not really looked at it, just looked at it a little bit and went, oh yeah, I have gone down and looked at that. That is not cool. That's not right. You shouldn't be able to try to excuse that. That is content theft. That is thieving somebody else's intellectual property, their visual artwork. You don't do that ever. And if you decide to do that, you contact the artist and say, hey, is it okay if I do X, Y, and Z? Hey, I want to share a homage to you. You try to get the permission. And at the very least, you put where you got it
I've
from.
done that
At the very
before.
least, that's like the minor standard, the most minor standard. Oh yeah, I got that from the crazy lady over there and I turned it purple and did X, Y, and Z to it. You do that. You don't just decide that you're going to put dots on a pillow and change words and change the color just a hair and then claim it. You can't do that. It's against the law. You could actually go to jail or have a huge fine over something like that. And I would not be crying because, like I said, as somebody who's been a writer and an artist for years, this is something I've dealt with. Anybody who has been a commercially artist who sold paintings or sold whatever, or even if you haven't, even if you're just a teenager at home drawing things out and sharing them online for the heck of it, and somebody takes your artwork and says it's theirs, it's wrong. It's just plain old vanilla wrong. Don't do it. You gotta support people to do that crap. People that do that crap have proven what their morality is, and that they suck most definitely. So that's my rant for today.
Huh.
And I know I'm going to piss some people off. Guess what? I'm kind of done. I'm going to link to the Toasty articles, the Toasty videos in this video, because it's important to see what was done and then the reaction. To me, the reaction was the worst part. Because a lot of people who aren't working artists don't realize that taking somebody else's whatever, doing something to it, and then claiming your own, they don't realize that that's actually a violation of rules.
Yeah,
and when
it's
busted,
a TOS
this person
violation.
calls somebody a CUNT, okay? That's not good. You don't do that. You just do not do that. I don't care who you are. So there you go. If you want to piss me off, art plagiarism is the way to go.
Fair enough.
I would say I love you guys, but I am very, very, very angry today.
Yeah, fair enough. Like she's right. She's right about pretty much everything she said about plagiarism, how it plays out, what goes into art. I didn't realize she called out Veda that hard. Oh, I lost my pencil. I'm actually surprised she called Veda out that hard, or I didn't realize she was going to call her out that hard, but I can see why Veda is so pissed about her. Now, let's check the comment section. What we got for comments here? Love your paintings. 100% agree. She came hot into Nikki's stream last night and deflected to I have to apologize. I grabbed the wrong photo. Yeah, okay, whatever. Veda should fess up. She lied. Good to see you. She's doubling down on the lie. And getting her personal pack of cheerleaders to help out. This is that Jessie LaRusso person. We'll probably talk about them later. Veda, call me out. I must have missed the call. Wow. Snakes are us is it. Good luck, Jesse. Veda, stop it, please. What you did was wrong. So wrong. Illegal, even. You never apologized for committing art plagiarism, etc., etc. Thank you for explaining art theft. Mocking media showed up. Veda's bold-faced lying. There's Mandy. Oh, hey, there's Mandy right there. I 1000% agree. I've been side-eyeing that person ever since, especially when it comes to reactions. There's the 4 numbers again. Know quite well the feelings on the subject. Yeah. Down the rabbit hole. Oh, I love your art. Thanks. Hey, there's Nikki showing up. What do you think about the art Veda made? What art Veda made? I haven't seen any art that Veda's made. I do not think she claimed it as her idea. She just said it was her artwork she made. Oh, never mind, you answered that. Love your art, especially. So they're just blowing smoke up her ass about her art. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I don't know, what do you guys think? It seems like she's acknowledging that she's been part of this group, but she's drawing a line with Veda specifically about the art stuff. Which I mean, everybody's got their own line, so I'm not gonna be too judgy about that, right? You know what I mean?